Peace to the clans. I was watching a recent video. Matter of fact, it was yesterday class of one of my mentors. And I had to stop it because I guess it's because I'm growing more and more. I'm doing my study, but I just got to address something that was said that doesn't add up to me. And it's not to, in other words, it's everything is for educational purpose. I want to share my understanding on the subject because I've been looking up words. I've been communicating with Chat GPT, and that's a good source of communication because they have all the, uh, let's say, the majority opinions sources is programmed to that computer. So it won't be, the may not be the view you want, but it'll be a view that you can debate on and get all their resources, what they have. A confederation is a group of states who are sovereign states who do not want a strong central government. They want to keep their independence. That's a confederation. That's what the Articles of Confederation was about. And that came from the Articles of Association. Now I'm basing everything that my teacher taught me, but I'm going in a different direction because I see something different, and this should be applauded. Difference of opinion doesn't mean somebody's lying. It just means, hey, this is what I'm looking at. So when George decided to take the government out of the republic under a federal government, that's what he did. That's why the Constitution was changed from United States for America to United States of America. George did that. He was a scoundrel when you really look and see what he did. He didn't want to stay in more than one term, not because of the Union, because he wanted to perpetrate this fraud to get other people to participate in it. But he changed everything, saying he was the first president when he wasn't. He was the ninth or the 10th. So this charade went on for quite a few years. Then Lincoln, who was they say I haven't got the proof of it. They say he was a British spy. He was to take the country back to Britain under Britain rule. And the way you do that is by having a strong central government. Now, what Lincoln did is set it up so that it can be easily corporatized. He didn't corporatize it. He set it up where it could be. That came 10 years later. So these states that were withdrawn from, they wasn't withdrawn from the United States. They was fighting to stay separate from the United States. Because all during this time, since George Washington, the states had sovereign powers. The government had limited powers. It was not a federal government, so to speak, until Lincoln came. You follow me? So these states were saying, well, you ain't gonna federalize me. No, I'm gonna be free. I'm gonna keep my sovereignty. That's what these states were saying. And they was in the South, closer to the sun. That's where that's where we was ruling, the melanated people. We wasn't giving in. See, the North was mostly uh, that's where the I'm going to conjecture now. You can tell me when there's a break in my voice, a sound of doubt. I'm going to conjecture now, and I'm telling you, I'm going to conjecture. The so-called white people of the North, the only way they was able to survive was the benefits of the slave trade. So though they say it was abolished, they were still benefiting from it through commerce. They had no industry up there to make commerce from. They had only thing they had was the being a safe haven, they say, from the so-called slaves. So I'm gonna do more research on that because that part is kind of it's not too clear what really happened up there. Maybe somebody else can fill in what happened there. But I'm going with the South. What happened in the South is that these states said we're not going to be a part of the union. It wasn't breaking up no union. There was no union. The states had equal rights. They was a sovereign states. So creating a union would mean they would be enslaved to the states. To the federal government was making everybody a slave, even the states. That was the 14th Amendment's all about. Forcing citizenship, which means coming under the jurisdiction of the U.S. government. Citizenship is just another name for a resident of a jurisdiction. That's all citizenship means. They putting you in that 10-mile square area of Washington, D.C., and they saying you got to go by the rules and regulations of this area that we, as government officials, are exempted from. We don't want free in this area, but you got to follow the laws of this area. All the laws that come down are for you. That's how they make their money. Okay, it's coming together now. The North was making their money off of fake laws, fake jurisdictions, and they were trying to spread this to the South. The South had slavery, but it wasn't black slavery, it was white slavery. And that's why they was trying to abolish it. You got it? Everything was flipped. That's why these people were so hard against slavery, because they was tired of whites being enslaved. But that's their natural state. That's why they call them Slavics. Oh, they don't like this topic. You can tell when I say a topic nobody likes, the chat is not open. This is what we're talking about. There's a sovereign country and there's a republic. Now, the last tape I did, they allowed me to be a sovereign. to be free. Now this tape, they're saying, no, we're putting you in a democracy now. We're going to control what you say and do to the point that we're not going to even let people in to listen to it. It's a sign always before the real thing. So the fact that the chat is closed, no one is in the queue, it shows me that they've closed this tape out. This is not to be viewed. So those who do manage to get in, count yourself lucky, because it's not meant for you to get in. So that's the point I want to correct before I go on and listen to a program, is that all Lincoln did was create a federal jurisdiction to bring the states into harmony, to leech off of them. Because you can't have a federal government without states being slaves to them, paying money to them. Nothing but bloodsuckers. That's all the federal government is. Suck your blood, which is your labor in the form of taxes. That's how they maintain their wealth. And that's all the North was doing. While you actually had people working in the South. And they was trading overseas. People don't talk about that. They was trading copper and sugar to Europe. And the North was jealous because they weren't able to generate that kind of income. So they said, okay, if we incorporate them into the United States, then we can get some of that wealth they got. Or we just outlaw it altogether. Why should they make more than we make over down here? We see the South is a different breed. The South was educated people, melanated people who knew how to run government. Because we were part of an empire. We knew all about government. That's how we were able to rule the South. And the movie Gone with the Wind tell you all about it. The only way they could conquer the South was they had to burn it up, destroy it by fire. That's what the war was all about. To destroy their crop and the people starve. Now, what they did up north, they destroyed the buffalo, and the people starve. It's all about keeping people under subjection. That's all it's all about. You know, there's a growing up, there's a game called Top Man of the Hill. Only way you can go higher, you had to keep the other people from pulling you down. If they pull you down, then they went higher. That's all the government is. Pulling you down so they can go higher. No, we had fun on those games. Well, we really did. A lot of fun playing those games. Barefooted, on the ground, getting that natural energy. Even by the highway slopes. We were still getting real divine energy playing those games as a youth in the midst of all this evil. So, yeah, that's what it's all about. So don't let nobody tell you that the South was, that Lincoln was to unite. He had the, what he said? He emancipated slaves to unite the Union. What the heck you talking about? There was no Union except for that so-called United States and Washington. But the Republic, the South, say we ain't a part of that. They never were a part of it. So that's what the war was about. They call it the Civil War, was to make the most prosperous part of the country a part of the Union. Because they had been fighting since the beginning not to be a part of that. They had their own laws. So that's my take on it, my research. And I reserve the right to change my mind in the light of new information. But bring me the facts, proof, and contradict point by point the points I'm making. Because I could be wrong in some areas, but I think I'm right in most areas because I can back it up. So I know I'm right in some areas. So show me where I'm wrong at. If you ain't bringing no love, you can't tell the truth in love, don't bring it. Bring all that emotion. Man, keep that. I don't need it. I'm beyond that. I don't respond to that. Hiya to the tribes, peace to the clans. Stay in the light. Be a light to your family.